remember the most special days of your life? Was it your first job interview, your first day in college, or was it some other day? Did everything go the way you wanted it?
Hey, you! Your turn now. Come on. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Amal. I from school. No, sorry. I from Napur.
So, Mal from Naipur. Come on, go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
I from BN school. I father. He. I nuclear man.
You nuclear man.
Yes. No, sorry. Physics.
Will you be my friend?
Hello. Hi, Jade. Are you waiting for long? Sorry, I'm late. Shall we order for some food? Hey, why aren't you talking to me? Is anything wrong? You wanted to meet me, right? So, any problem? Are you alright? Hello! What's wrong, man?
Hey, Ria, what's up?
Hi, Vivek! What a surprise! Wait, I'll join you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please have a seat. So, Miss Roy, we see that you have got brilliant marks in all your exams. Very impressive. Now, tell us about yourself.
My name is Sunita Roy. My father's is named Dilip Roy. He is small business. My mother, a housewife.
Don't get nervous. Go ahead.
I MBA graduate.
We need someone smart and lively for this post. But you are not ready for it yet. Maybe next time. Thanks.
Dear friends, hello and welcome. Today I'm here to discuss how to give a proper self-introduction. We saw 3 situations. Such experiences leave us heartbroken. But trust me, these situations are easily overcome. The need for self-introduction arises in various stages of our lives. For that, you need to learn some simple methods. To start with, remember the basics. A self-introduction has to be short, grammatically correct, and interesting. You know, it is also called an elevator speech. Why? Because it has to end before the listener reaches his or her floor while traveling in an elevator. And now I'm going to select a few students and listen to their self-introduction. All right, everyone, listen to your classmates' self-introduction. Can you start, please? Please.
My name Govind.
Good. Continue. Okay, all right. You please sit. Next, please.
My name is Asha Das, and my father's name is Binoy Das.
Good. Carry on.
And
Speak up. All right. Please sit. Aziz, can you try?
Good morning. My name is Aziz. My father name is Mr. Abulinanath. I study in DN College now.
All right, Aziz, you have tried to give a self-introduction. So has Govind and Asha. But just like the stories of Amaljeet and Sunita, we find that all you need to do is learn the techniques for giving a fine self-introduction. A self-introduction is the first impression that you leave on your listener. It is indeed important. Today, we will learn how to give a perfect self-introduction. Rule 1. Smile and be confident. That instantly gives a pleasant feeling. After all, no one feels particularly friendly towards a grumpy person. Also, when you believe in yourself and feel confident from within, the person sitting opposite will feel the same about you. So, keep your head high and look into the eyes of the listener instead of looking down or here and there. And from here we go on to rule 2. Always make eye contact. That would also help to secure the attention of the listener. Rule 3. Emphasize your strength depending on the purpose of the self-introduction. Shall we hear about this from a professional?
Yes.
Great. Let's do it then.
An interviewer's tricky question comes is when they ask you what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Now this is really tricky because you at your age group, it is very difficult to say what has been your strength or what has been your weakness. But then you can always attempt. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Your strength would be your teamwork, when you have successfully as a team done certain good things, or as an individual you have organized something good. The interviewer would then say that what are your weaknesses? So weakness is, we all have weaknesses. You have weakness, I have weakness. So there is no harm in having weakness. It's only when you turn that weakness to your positive strength is what the interviewer is looking at. So when you can say, I have a weakness in my communication which I am working on. I have a weakness in this which I am working on. So life is big and vast. So you get to know from your experiences and that's how you grow. So do not hesitate to say, I have a weakness in this, but I am working on it.
Rule 4. Be brief and precise. A self-introduction has to be time-bound. Remember the other name for self-introduction? Elevator speech. Very good. Let us hear this from a professional.
So now that you have a chance to showcase yourself as calm, keep it very simple. I'll give you an example. You can follow this, you might come up with your own idea, but stick to something very simple and basic. Don't overdo yourself, don't underdo yourself. Like say somebody asks me, tell me something about yourself. So I'll be more than happy to say, I am Mr. Kishore Roy. I am born and brought up in a town called Bardhaman. Now, do not talk negative about your place. There is nothing called a small town. There is nothing called a big town. There is nothing to be ashamed of what your father does. So you can always say, my father is a farmer, my mother is a housewife. They have done their best so that I could study in the good college, in a good school. I have got so much marks in my school. I have got so much marks in my college. These are the subjects I love. People love to hear this. They don't want any negativities. Keep the positives and get a positive view of your life. You can always say that you have other interests in your life, that you are a good football player or a good cricket player and you have achieved so and so in this. Interviewers love to hear achievements.
So students, I'm sure you have understood the points made by the industry professionals. Rule number 5. This is very important and you need to use your intelligence here. You may often find that you are losing the listener's attention. In such situations, you have to shift your focus and start with something more interesting and appropriate. This will always depend on the situation you find yourself in. Self-introduction in your first job interview and that in your first day in college can never be the same, right? Rule 6. This is related to Rule 5. You must understand how to edit your self-introduction given your situation and your listener. Omit those things which are unimportant for your listener and always add those details which he or she might find exciting. Rule 7. This is about the basic etiquette of listening. Always leave space for responses because no one really likes chatterboxes. I hope you understand the importance of this rule. And now we come to Rule 8. It is important to keep your introduction and interaction relevant. If you're being interviewed for an IT job, talk about the IT industry and not about sports and current affairs for too long. If you digress from the matter at hand, then your listener would be confused about your efficiency.
The first and foremost thing you have to keep in your mind that you want to make your personality through your introduction. It doesn't matter that how tall was your grandfather. That is the Irish proverb I quote. It means that your introduction of yourself must be very precise and must be very relevant. You must not bring out irrelevant matters while giving your introduction. Introduction is like which is called in our newspaper jargon, that is intro. Intro means introduction. That is window page of a newspaper. That means when you give introduction, it reflects your entire personality, your presence of mind, and whether you are totally smart or not. Smartness does not mean that street smartness. Smartness means that how you express yourself smartly. Smartness means that how you introduce yourself smartly. Because your first impression you are making through your introduction, and most of the time the first introduction becomes the last introduction, because you may not have more chances to correct your faults in presenting your introduction. I have seen in many cases that people, when introduce themselves, they bring out many irrelevant talks. Sometimes they want to impress others by introducing or by presenting their financial condition. Sir, I am very poor person, my father is very poor, if you do not give me a job, I completely, my family will be ruined. So that is the most relevant talks, because if, take for instance that you are giving your interview for your job. Now your job seeker wants to know that how much you can deliver to them, what is your relevant qualification. They want to see that how much dependent you are and how you can deliver goods to them, how much you are trustworthy to them, and how quickly you can understand and what leadership quality you possess. These are the all things together they want to find out in you. So your financial condition, your financial background is always counterproductive in that matter. You must exert yourself, you must convince the other people that how much relevant qualification you possess.
Rule number 9. This is a very interesting one. You can talk about a person or personality who has inspired you and whom you idealize while giving your self-introduction. For instance, I am highly inspired by the life and work of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. It has taught me how to fight odds and be compassionate to others. These small additions can make your self-introduction impressive. Rule number 10. Listen carefully. Please do not oversell yourself. That irritates the listener. Have precision and humility. Now don't forget the last 2 rules. Rule 11 is about basic good manners. Always greet the person pleasantly before the introduction and before leaving. Your behavior shows who you are.
Ideally, it starts with the very entry process. You knock onto the door, you shake hands as you get in, you actually greet all the people who are there on the desk and ask permission to sit down. Once you do that, you start your introduction, and this is the chance to actually showcase you to the outside world. It's not so difficult because after all, you're talking about yourself only. So let's pause for a second to understand what would be an interviewer's perspective be. It's all very simple. Be yourself. That's the first thing you should know. So what an interviewer looks at is the self-image, the confidence that you have yourself, and the way you have packaged yourself. So when it comes to you as a person, what you should be ideally doing? You should walk in straight. You should talk about yourself the way you want yourself to be addressed. Be smartly dressed always. That will create a big impression.
Last but not the least, rule number 12. Do not cross the fine line of friendliness and become over-friendly during your introduction, for the simple reason that it might appear fake. Do not go overboard because that may throw you out of the field. We have covered all the relevant thumb rules. Now all you have to do is remember these thumb rules and practice hard so that you can give a proper self-introduction. Let me give you 3 very important tips to help you out. The first tip to remember while you give a self-introduction is do not be afraid of failure and do not be hesitant. You may fail once or twice, but soon you will start improving, and that is what matters in the long run. Do you remember how Sunita lost her job opportunity because of her nervousness and fears? What could have happened if she had not been so afraid?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Have a seat.
Sir.
So, Miss Roy, we see that you have got brilliant marks in all your exams. Very impressive.
Thank you, sir.
Now, tell us about yourself.
My name is Sunita Roy. My father, Mr. Dilip Roy, has a small business, while my mother is a housewife. My teacher, Mr. Shubodh Sen, inspired me a lot. I did MBA in Human Resources. I like meeting new people. I'm a very hardworking person, sir.
Okay, good. Sunita, tell me, what qualities a HR manager should have?
Sir, a good HR manager should look after the benefits of the workers as well as the company.
Very good. Impressive.
So, students, first, get rid of your fears and shyness. And then, tip number 2, always speak out. Don't hide in a shell. Whenever you get the opportunity, introduce yourself. See what happened when our young friend started to speak freely.
Hello. Hi, Jeet.
Hi, Ria.
Are you waiting for long?
No problem.
So, how are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
Great. Sorry, I don't know much about you.
Actually, I study history. I love to travel, to go to different places. And my hobby is to go for trekking.
Interesting. Please tell me more about this.
Yeah.
But let's order for some food.
Oh, yes. But wait. I have got something. Excuse me, waiter. So? Yes, sir. Hey, Ria, what's up?
Hi, Vivek. All is well. Talk to you later.
Always remember, if you want to learn swimming, you must get into the water first. Dear students, the last tip that I'm going to give you is start speaking in small sentences. You can start off with just 3 sentences and then slowly go up to 4 or 5. But you need to construct grammatically correct sentences in English. For that, you need to know grammar well and have sufficient vocabulary to express your ideas and thoughts clearly.
Hey, you! Your turn now. Come on. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hello, seniors. I am Aman. I live in a village in Nayapur. My father is a farmer.
In which department, Amal?
I'm studying physics honors. I got 80% marks in physics, chemistry and mathematics. I want to be a scientist and I like playing football.
80% marks in science group.
Yes.
Great, Amal.
So, Amal, why don't you join our college football team?
Why not?
Let us recapitulate the rules that we need to keep in mind for that. Students, let's see if you are now ready for a proper self-introduction. So I will ask once again to prepare for a perfect self-introduction, keeping in mind the thumb rules and the tips that I gave you. Remember that we are going to record this session. so that you can watch the video later and correct yourselves, improve upon the areas of your weakness.
My name, I want to become a businessman. Asha Das. I study history honors. Father's name and I love to
Stay at Balasore. My parents run it.
Govind, please tell us about yourself.
Good morning, ma'am. Hello, friends. My name is Gobind Sahu. I stay at Balasore. I want to become a businessman. My parents run a family business.
Very good, Govind. You need to practice the method and you are going to improve. When you talk about your permanent residence, you should use the verb live. So, you should have said, I live in Balasore, not I stay at Balasore, right? Stay is used to indicate a temporary accommodation. For instance, I stay with my sister while in Delhi. And at indicates a particular point in a region. For instance, at school, at home, at number 5 Sudder Street. Asha, your turn, please.
My name is Asha Das. My father's name is Binoy Das and my mother's name is Meenu Das. I study history honors and I want to be an archaeologist and I love to read poetry.
I am happy with your progress, students. Good luck and goodbye for now. Remember to learn your lessons, be confident and practice hard. Never forget that practice makes one perfect. Nothing is impossible if you are hardworking and sincere.